Take 1 part Good Madam, 1 part His House, put them in a bowl, mix them all up with the right ingredients, and sprinkle some dashes of Anna Diop on top of it, and you have Nanny, an Amazon original from writer-director Nikatu Jusu. If I mispronounce that name, I do apologize. This is her feature film debut, and Anna Diop plays, wait for it, wait for it. Just think about the title, think about it, but just sit down, because you might not be able to quite figure it out until you sit down, relax, get a snack. She plays a nanny. I know, the main character playing a nanny in a movie called Nanny. So goddamn weird, isn't it? How could this possibly happen? In all seriousness, Anna Diop, who has been in a lot of really good meaty roles lately. She had a good role in Us, and she's been in various television shows and has really risen to prominence. She gets to have a lead role here in this suspense, horror, family, drama, psychological thriller that has her as an immigrant from Senegal, and she's trying to earn enough money in the quickest but best way possible, being a nanny, to a rich family, where the mother, Amy Michelle Monaghan, who I've loved for a number of years. She still looks great. She's approaching 50 and looks 30. Great genetics there. She is trying to just find a nanny to help her daughter, Rose, who's played by Rose Decker. So I guess they assumed the kid wouldn't be able to recognize any other name because maybe the kid, I don't know, sustained several major head injuries in the womb. So they said, Rose, you're going to play Rose. Hope nobody else on this set was named Rose. Me Rose or her Rose. Anyway, nevertheless. So Aisha, Anna's character, she has her son. She talks to him, even with the time difference and everything. She loves her son. She really wants to bring him here. And she's working hard as a nanny. Working hard in the city! In New York City, the Upper East Side. And she's just trying to do the best job possible. She has an aunt that she interacts with. And she finds romance. And unfortunately, she also finds other things that are a bit more troubling. And finds out that maybe not everything is all rosy in this household. And maybe there are things in her past and other people's past that are coming back to haunt her, and she has to basically solve this mystery, or otherwise some things may be history. Nanny Tales, woohoo. Okay, so this just dropped on Amazon today, and this did remind me quite a bit of Good Madam and also His House, and if you've seen either of those movies, or both, then you will see some similarities. Now, that's not a bad thing. Both movies are atmospheric, well done enough, if not necessarily the greatest thing. But the one thing that this movie does touch on pretty well is how immigrants struggle and have to basically do everything they can, work twice as hard, sometimes 10 times as hard, to earn the money that any human being would get, if they were American and everything. Basically, they just have to work so goddamn hard. They have to almost keep their mouth shut. They have to just keep their head down and do their job. Now, it's not always touched on expertly in this movie. This movie does kind of go in a few different directions. It has one central focus, but then it kind of spiders off. It proves that not everything is black and white, red and green, with all the colors that you've ever seen. Nanny, party. Okay, enough of that. Blumhouse is involved in this because, of course, if there is a chance to make a few $1 million on a movie that has a basic, if not decent premise, and they can just add some spoopy imagery, Blumhouse will absolutely be there. So, Anna is a standout here. She's pretty goddamn good. Michelle's also good, and then there are a few other characters that populate this. There's Adam Morgan Spector, not to be confused with Phil Spector, even though the hair is somewhat similar. Sinqua Walls plays Malik, the love interest that comes in a little bit later. This movie isn't bad. I want to say that right now, but I don't think this movie's as great as it could have been. It kind of feels like it almost loses its way sometimes. The dream sequences that Aisha has make sense as far as stuff that she's going through. She senses something's weird or whatever. At one point, she can't get a hold of, the person is watching her son. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, I'm trying to send you this money, figure this stuff out. I want you both to come over here, but especially, my son, she wants to see her son. Give me back my son! Ransom? Anyone? And from there, we have a psychological thriller horror movie. One that maybe we've seen before, but it does have good cinematography, has some good acting. Anna does a very good job here. Everybody else is fine. The girl who plays Rose, she's okay. I mean, it's really hard to critique child actors unless it's the little boy from A Wrinkle in Time. Yeah, that one wasn't very good. But otherwise, it's a standard movie with some good cinematography and some good performances. and kind of swerves you one way with how you think it's going to end, and it actually ends in a somewhat more positive way. I'll get into that in the spoilers in a little bit, but overall, not a bad movie. If you have Amazon Prime, it's worth watching. There are certainly way worse Amazon originals or Amazon Prime exclusive movies that they've had this year. This is a cut above. Even if it's not great, to me, I see potential, and I hope that the director-writer can go on to do some bigger and better things. Because they've shown some skill as far as having some long pan shots and focusing on the actors and telling a decent story. So that's all I got. And you can tell the source material must have meant a lot to the writer-director, because there seemed to be a lot of personal stuff as far as experiences that they had or perhaps their parents had. I'm not exactly sure. I would imagine there's a bit more of a personal touch about this. So I am going to get into spoilers, just so you know, but that's your warning. It's on Amazon if you want to check it out. If you got a Prime membership, you're good. 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Okay, I can't do hand signals there. Okay, so she keeps talking to her son, Lamine, and then she's raising Rose, and Rose seems fine. Amy, Michelle Monaghan, basically says, oh, Amy, or, my daughter Rose, she's very sensitive. You can't feed her certain things. But then it turns out that Rose actually likes the food that that Aisha's cooking for her. And there's also this guy, Malik, who is the head of this, I guess, condo area, this Upper East Side condo area where this family lives and other families live. And he has a son. They hook up, Malik and Aisha, and they kind of bond over the fact that they have kids. They're trying to raise them. They're single parents. And he lost his mother when he was young. She lost her mother to cancer. And then Malik's grandmother tells her story. Hey, by the way, there's this whole thing about, these weird, these weird otherworldly beings, shall we say. There's Anansi, who is so minuscule and has to use intelligence to outsmart those bigger than him. He's a little mischievous. And there's Mami Wata. Again, I don't understand all the culture stuff about this, but there's stuff about, okay, they can, sometimes, certain forces want certain things for you, but they aren't always for good. Sometimes, they want blood. Sometimes they want an eye for an eye. Sometimes they want you to continue or live on so you can persist or, be reborn. There's like new life to replace old life. All this philosophical stuff that I'm sure probably went over the head of somebody like me. But it had some good story to it. It had some good imagery. Whoever painted that thing, painted that one particular painting, did a really good job. But also there's stuff that Adam does, Amy's husband, and they seem to have a very tense, obviously, relationship that they just have for the kid. They're just staying together for the kid, as Blink-182 once said. Boy, that's a callback. And she bonds with Rose, but she's also having her own issues where she's blanking out sometimes because she's having bad nightmares. At one point, she loses her in the park. And then she's swimming with her in a pool. And then Aisha completely blanks out, picturing being saved or being dragged down by some weird creature. Like, what the hell is going on? And meanwhile, she can't get a hold of, Lamine or person caring for him. And then, as she's telling the story about this Anansi to Rose even drops a bombshell. Oh, there was this weird stuff that happened or whatever, and Lamine's jealous, and now he's trying to stop this. Why would he try to stop that? Who told you about that? How would you know about him? Well, that was right after something happened where she was wandering around the house picturing all this stuff and hearing all these voices, and she had filled a tub, and she couldn't find Rose, and she was gripping a knife, and the knife was all, the blood and everything was all over the place. And then she saved Rose from the bathtub. And it almost looked like she was going to stab her because she was wondering, who's in the bathtub? Who's trying to do this to me? Because she was getting dragged down the bathtub. It's really weird. And then she ends up finally getting all the money because she had a bunch of back pay or whatever, because everybody was conveniently forgetting to pay her. Because you're an immigrant, you think you can get away with that stuff. You can't. Pay them what you agree, pay them what they're owed, because they deserve it, because they're human beings and they deserve to have a nice living, especially when they're doing jobs you care not to do. Anyway, finally the son's going to come. Her and Malik have bonded, and she met his son, and everything seems good. But then suddenly, Lamine isn't there. It turns out that one day they were at the beach, back in Senegal, I assume, or wherever, and yeah, Lamine got swept out to sea and drowned. Oh, that's why she was picturing all the stuff about water and the stuff in the pool and everything. And well, that's terrible. And then we advance really, really quickly where it turns out that Aisha was pregnant, got pregnant on her, with the one time her and Malik went woohoo, and now she suddenly has new life. She has a new son, and they have a new family and everything, and that's it. Yeah, it gets a B. It was well done, well acted. It was well shot. I'm not gonna say it was perfect. Did the movie have a bunch of stuff that maybe other people will get? Does it have some stuff that could be open to interpretation? Sure. It's not bad. It's not necessarily the best thing, but it's worth watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.